We are trying to talk about the actuarial science, which is the professional qualification is named as actuary, but the science is actuarial science. Of course, we have a data science that we are going to relate to. The professional is called a data scientist per se, but the field is data science. But actuaries are problem solvers in the area of uncertainty, where you do not know what will happen, which is common to both actuaries and data scientists. Actuaries are one of the original data scientists. That's how they call themselves, right? But they're not the data scientists, because now we have a different profession of data scientists. But actuaries actually are the data scientists of the insurance industry. Providing quite tough. I kind of agree to this and would like you to kind of have a look at it and say this is not correct. In other countries, there are a lot of actuaries working. In India, it is just growing. It has just started growing. Earlier, it was very difficult to find one actuary for one company. Now they have over 2-3 actuaries. But each company needs at least 100 actuaries per se, given the size of India and given the volume of, Oswald Jacobi, a famous mathematician, right? And he is one of the youngest actuaries. He qualified as an actuary at the age of 21. That was a record at that point of time. And very recently it was broken by another person. Kafka, the famous person, he himself was an actuary. The Halley's Comet, Edmund Halley was an actuary. The Lundberg inequality, Kramer Rao, all of them have been actually. Even Dimavi had some connections in the actuarial field, because he was working with with one of those insurance companies and helping them. William Morgan, the physicist who first measured the invisible light. There are a lot of other names. I thought, let me just give some background, but most of them are mathematicians. Till about 2013-14, it's rated as one of the topmost professions, both in terms of monetary benefit as well as in terms of the stress levels that an individual needs. It's a pleasure to be in the RAMTP platform and present a course which is so related to actually the mathematics. I'm very privileged and fortunate. Thank you so much to you, RAMTP Foundation, and Mr. Vinay Nair as well. Vinay has been very generous. You have been very generous in accommodating me in the RAMTP platform. Thank you so much for that. Let me try to give my brief views. There's a lot of stories, as you have rightly said. There are lots and lots. We can connect as we go forward, but given the time, I'll try to be as brief as I can, and we can cover the rest of it in the question answers, and maybe over a period of time later. With that, I'll just start my presentation. Let me share the screen. Just give me a moment. Is the screen visible?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So the topic that we're going to cover is about mostly about actuarial science and actuary. But also about data science and how it is related to the actuarial science, and how mathematics form the core of both of this. Without mathematics, I'm sure these fields would be more or less blank. Would I say? So with that, let's start this session. Yeah. So we are trying to talk about the actuarial science, which is the professional qualification is named as actuary, but the science is actuarial science. Of course, we have a data science that we are going to relate to. The professional is called a data scientist per se, but the field is data science. But you know what? There is a very common thing between actuarial science and data science. What is common? What is common is the data. The data itself is common, right? The data is what is used in an actuarial science in a field where the actuaries do a lot of number crunching using the data. The same type of work is done in the data science as well, when the data scientist does a lot of number crunching with the data. What do you do with the data? you do a lot of things with the data, but primarily the statistics is used for all of this, right? So we do apply a lot of statistical techniques on the data, either for actuarial science or for the data science. But is it just statistical techniques? No, is it more than that? It is more than that, I would say. Statistics is only forms part of just aggregating data. But then how do we derive and kind of use the data for the future? In doing that, a lot of mathematical models and mathematical approaches are used, and we would cover that as we go forward. But with that background, I thought, let me just start the presentation. They do. In short, if I have to say, actuaries are problem solvers in the area of uncertainty, where you do not know what will happen in the future, whether it is life insurance, whether it is health insurance, whether it is motor insurance. They may not know what is going to happen in the future. So they use the probability techniques, that they would have learned during their professional days, and apply that to arrive at what would be the insurance coverage that would be required, and what is the equivalent insurance premium that need to be charged, and so on and so forth. So they apply futuristic probabilities and arrive at monetary values and help businesses to mitigate the risk. This is a very quick summary of what they exactly do from a practical perspective. Let's move on now. See, worldwide, the actuarial sciences spread across the globe in three different ways, I would say. One is the US model, the second one is the European model, and of course, since we are in India, we have the Indian model, I would say, but we predominantly follow the European model. So what I am just trying to explain here is about these three models. The European model predominantly is centered around the UK, where they have an Institute and Faculty of Actuaries. The Institute and Faculty of Actuaries is in London, UK, and is being set up by an act of Parliament. Rather, it's been signed by the Queen. The setting up of the Institute and Faculty of Actuaries, and they are a professional body who conduct the examinations in the UK. And in the UK currently they do have, see, these are all figures from their site, so slightly it could be older now. The figures might have improved a bit, but as on 2020 they had about 32,000 and odd members, out of which around 15,000 members are the associates and fellows. You could see over here these are the fellows and associates. So before that, I would like to explain how an actuarial qualification is structured. As you know, in India, we have, say, for example, you have a Chartered Accountant Institute where you have an inter and a final. Similarly, in an actuarial profession, the professional qualification is structured as an associate qualification and a fellowship qualification. They have a series of exams to go through. Most of these exams are mathematically oriented. As you have seen, we apply a lot of probability. We apply a lot of finance related thing, the interest rate theory, and further investment related thing. And in building on both of this, a lot of calculus is involved, both integral calculus, differential calculus, integration. A lot of such advanced mathematics topics are involved. But of course, they are involved more from an application perspective. So those are all the subjects that would be there, which we will cover later. But these subjects are categorized into associates and fellows. If you take up an actuarial science course, if you pass the initial set of X exams, then you will become an associate. And after that, there will be a further exams. If you qualify those further exams, then you will become a fellow. So the fellow member is called a fully qualified actuary. And from a UK or an European perspective, even the associate member is also called an actuary because they have almost completed every mathematical part of it. Only the advanced part they might not have done through. So they have a structure where both associates and fellows are termed as actuaries. Currently, in the UK, there are about 16,000 actuaries. It says student membership, but that's actually the total. There are about 1,100 new qualifiers in that year. This is year 2020, I guess, and there are about 16,000, close to 16,000 fellow and associate members put together. This is the UK model. Let me go to the US model. In USA, they have two streams. As we have seen earlier, we have seen life insurance, and these actuaries work in life insurance as well as the non-life insurance or the general insurance, right? So in USA, they have two streams. One is called a Society of Actuaries, which they predominantly deal with the life and pensions. They call life and pensions because pension is also related to how long the person will live. So it's kind of classified as a kind of relating to life insurance. So the Society of Actuaries in USA will usually deals with the life and pension stream of the actuarial course. They have another institute called the Casualty Society, CASAC they call. They deal with the non-life or the property and casualty stream of the actuarial course, but the exams are similar in nature. So I have only covered the Society of Actuaries. We can discuss about CASAC as we go through the presentation. At this point of time, their total membership, I mean, in US, there are no student membership per se. I mean, you can start writing the exams, and as and when you feel you are comfortable. And after qualifying a few exams, you will be termed as an associate member. And after further qualification, you will be termed as a fellow member. In the society, there are about 18,000 or 19,000 fellow members. This is a life stream, life and pension stream. Similarly, in the property and casualty stream, which relates to your, say, like a motor car insurance or the insurance which are not related to life, there are about another 35,000 actuaries in the USA. So that is how the USA the market is centered. There is a small difference between the UK and the USA model in the examination pattern. We'll try to address that. But the examination conducted by the Society of Actuaries in USA are completely different. From a pattern perspective, the subjects remain the same. The fundamentals of probability may not change, but how they have kind of structured it would be different. In USA, the initial few exams and maybe a few further exams are also multiple choice questions. For example, the probability exams have a multiple choice of around 30 questions. And of course, those 30 questions would be tough enough. You'll have to do work and then solve and then attempt the answer. But yeah, it's a multiple choice question type. And there are about 4 or 5 multiple choice exams. And the other exams are theory exams. Some of the theory exams are for more than 3 hours. But in UK model, mostly they are all written exams or else computer-based exams as we do nowadays for some of the financial modeling and stuff like that. So that's about the Society of Actuaries, the US model. And we have Indian model as well. Currently in India, this is the 2020 numbers. We have about 466 fully qualified fellow members and 165 associate members. Our membership is around 10,000 per se, roughly less than that, around 8,000 and odd members are there, student members are there, who have not become associates yet, who are still writing the exams. You can think of the size of India in terms of population. What is our size in terms of crores, and what are the number of actuaries that we have? And let me also share with you, out of this 450 actuaries, about 1/3, or maybe now it's not 1/3, maybe around 1/4 of them would be around 65 or 70 plus of age. These actuaries qualified in the earlier saga where the actuarial science people were writing actuarial exams prior to 1950s and 40s and 60s. So 1/4 of them are quite aged, and 1/4 or maybe 1/3 of them work outside India, either in Singapore or else in UK or else in USA. They are moved out of the country because they had opportunities. So only the rest, about 200 and odd are only working in India. I'm one among them to be in India. But yeah, that's the size in India compared to what is the global size. And this is extremely short supply in India at this point of time. But of course, there is a catch here. Most of these actuaries work in the insurance arena, and we have about 50 odd insurance companies in India. Whereas in other countries, there are quite a lot of, quite a number of insurance companies. Further, in each insurance company in the other countries, there are a lot of actuaries working. In India, it is just growing. It has just started growing. Earlier, it was very difficult to find one actuary for one company. Now they have about two, three actuaries. But each company needs at least 100 actuaries per se, given the size of India and given the volume of business that we do. So there's quite a lot of supply gap in terms of numbers from the in perspective. Let me just move on further. Okay, so now I come to the examinations. This is the UK model, and the Indian exams are exactly similar to UK exams, because when we formed the institute in early 2000, no, we were not having any subjects or material, and hence we have taken the help of the UK body, and they have been very generous enough to help us with their structure, and we are still following the UK model. In doing this, there is a benefit, because if a student passes an exam in India, they can get an exemption from the UK institute. Similarly, if they pass an examination from the UK, they can take an exemption from the Indian institute, because the examinations are similar, the subjects are similar, even the syllabus are also similar. So we discussed about two stages. One is an associateship, and the other one is fellowship. For the associate, there are two different type of subjects. One are called, these are all core subjects. That is why they're all the associate subjects are core subjects. And the core principles are something which are more related to the fundamentals of the mathematical side of it. One is either on the statistics or else on the mathematics, and some of the finance and economics as well, because this also will be used in building it later in the fellowship course. Of course, there are other further practice subjects. How do we use these core principles in building an actuarial model, or how do we communicate and things like that. So these are all the subjects that we need to complete to become an associate. And to become a fellow, there are further subjects that one needs to continue with. These are all specialist subjects. They are bucketed into two categories. One is the principles, specialist principles, and specialist advanced. You will have to take at least two subjects from the specialist principles. Out of the 9, this is a choice. You can choose any two of the 9. Similarly, for advanced, you have to choose one of the available subjects, 6 subjects. Of course, these subjects keep on changing, keep on evolving over a period of time. And when you take up, maybe you can also look at, but the core, the fundamentals would not change, significantly. I have been in the profession for about 25 years. The name would have changed, but the fundamentals of what we use as a probability, what we use in the theory of interest rates remain the same, right? Yeah. So before this slide, I just wanted to say one thing. When I started the actuarial exam, there was this person who came to me and scared me very much. How did he scare me? He said, Arun, it's okay, you can write an actuarial exam, but you know what? If you write an exam and score say 95 marks in probability, and in one particular problem, if you write the probability as greater than 1 by mistake, then probably even though you have scored 95, they will still fail you, because they feel that you do not even know the basic rule that the probability is not greater than it should be less than 1, it cannot be greater than 1. So that is called a capital punishment. So he scared me so much. So I just had to go through that. subject again. But let me also tell you, when I had gone through the subject, it's quite tough. I know. Let me tell this to you. About each subject requires about 200 to 300 hours, literal 200 to 300 hours of work. Of course, some IIT grads can crack it in 150 hours maybe. But the record as of now in India for those people who have qualified faster. Now, if we measure from the start when he became a student till he qualifies, it's about 4.5 years. I guess now it's become 4 years. One person has passed within 4 years time. So to complete all these exams, even these guys are probably the guys who have been studying day in day out, like for the 12th standard or the IIT entrance exams. They could qualify in 4 years time. I took about 10 years time to qualify, and there are people who have taken 25 years of time, 30 years of time for one of the last subjects. These are all pretty hard exams, and I see this cartoon, but I say this is in truth. I have seen myself 4 to 5 pensioners who have qualified as an actuary. One of my very senior actuary, who was my appointed actuary in ICICI Prudential. He qualified almost at the age of 57 or 56, before he moved to ICICI Prudential. Now, there are people who qualified even after 70. This is quite a bit of a tough exam, I would say. I myself is a mathematic buff. I like to solve problems, but definitely these are subjects which are quite hard to crack. Just hold on. Let me just hold on for a moment. I think it's raining over here. So let me just open the window a bit so that you get more light. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. So these exams are quite tough. I kind of agree to this, and would like you to kind of have a look at it and say this is not correct, Arun, to me. Yeah. So let me move on to the next slide. Yeah. So before this slide, I just wanted to say one thing, is that what we have seen so far are the actuarial exams which are conducted by the Institute of Actuaries of India, or the Institute and Faculty of Actuaries UK, or the Society of Actuaries in USA, and things like that. But there are colleges and universities who conduct courses. For example, in Canada, the University of Waterloo conduct course in Actuarial Science, very popular. In UK, the Heriot-Watt University, the City University, the University of Kent. In India, we have universities like the Amity University, some of the SP Jain, some of the other universities in south part of it, like the Madras University, Madras School of Economics, the Bishop Heber College. There are many universities who conduct courses in actuarial science. They are either a graduate course or a postgraduate course. Most of these courses provide you with the fundamentals of the subject, but they may not give you the actuarial science qualification as such. In a sense, you cannot call yourself as an actuary because of the fellow member requirement set up by the Act of Parliament. But otherwise, this gives you all what is required to learn the subject and also work in the field. So that's the fellow membership. The fellow qualification is required only if you need to sign as an actuary. Otherwise, to do a work, you can very well learn from a university and move forward. Some of the connections from the actuarial connection. Warren Buffett, once was supposed to take over as an actuary. He met the GE vice president, and then they have been discussing about he getting into actuarial science, but he took the shares of GE, and that's how he moved into a different area altogether. He was almost there. but he had not taken. But Jacobian, we know as well Jacobi, a famous mathematician, right? And he is one of the youngest actuaries. He qualified as an actuary at the age of 21. That was a record at that point of time. And very recently it was broken by another person. Kafka, the famous person, he himself was an actuary. The Halley's Comet, Edmund Halley was an actuary. The Lundberg inequality, Kramer-Raff, all of them have been actually. Even Dimavi had some connection in the actuarial field because he was working with with one of those insurance companies and helping them. William Morgan, the physicist who first measured the invisible light. There are a lot of other names which I thought let me just give some background, but most of them are mathematicians. I hope you know this person. I just thought let me just put this person on the screen and much bigger. So yeah, so he is also connected to the actuarial science, right? Who is this person? Anybody? Anybody? Any guesses? Okay, let me just. Yeah, I think somebody had said that Babbage. Yeah, so he is Charles Babbage, the father of the computer. He's also connected to actuarial science. How we know? We will come to that quickly. But what is this? Can someone say this? A clue is that it is connected to the earlier person. All right. Yeah, I think, yeah, she said, somebody said first computer. Yeah, this is the difference engine which he built, which Babbage built. But let me tell you, Babbage was working, he did this in 1920, in early 20s, right? And at that point of time, he was actually working on actuarial tables. He was helping out Equitable Life, the Prudential Assurance, and he was working on creating an actuarial table. And he had he had done the table in 26, in the year 26. He developed this engine in the year 20 or 21. So there is some connection in terms of even how the computing had happened. And in the actuarial science, there's a lot of computing which happens. As you go through, it's a lot of computation, iterative computation, I would say, which happens in the professional field. Yeah. So let me move further. Right. We now we know about actuarial science. We know about some of the subjects. We know about computer science also. So there is some link, right? But what is data science then, right? As I have mentioned earlier, data is something which is common to both actuaries and data scientists. Actuaries are one of the original data scientists. That's how they call themselves, right? But they're not the data scientists, because now we have a different profession of data scientists. But actuaries actually are the data scientists of the insurance industry. Originally, only insurance was working with such data, because because how do we provide insurance? We can provide insurance only based on past experience, and past experience can be measured only with huge data. And that is how they have been helping the insurance industry and the business. And that's what they've been doing. And they are the data scientists in that sense from those early days. And it's all connected. If you go back, the entire iterative calculation is how the computer itself got connected. And hence there is this come back to the data scientist. But now data scientist as a profession is beyond actuarial science, right? It is beyond actuaries in the sense it covers every other domain. It's just not about insurance, it's about any other domain. It can be automotive, it can be pharmaceutical industry, it can be kind of aviation industry, it can be any type of industry, which it might be a consumer goods, like a Hindustan, a Unilever. A lot of these companies nowadays work with a lot of data. How the data comes, right? With the invent of the computers, and the invent of now the connected computers through the internet, and the storage capacity getting increased, the data is getting quite pruned, or quite available in a fashion which we need. And currently it's like an oil, that's what they say. And hence, the data science has evolved beyond insurance into other areas as well. What do? They apply a lot of techniques what the actuaries have learned, but they have also kind of created new techniques. But those techniques are based on the mathematics and the statistics part of it. Yeah. So we move further. Okay. This we covered, right? You can see, 2010 is not too far off, right? It's about a decade ago, right? I mean, you might, some of you might have just probably started school, right? But we are somewhere in 2021, which is currently here. We are here, but the data size is growing tremendously. This is because of the global, I mean, the social, the big data and all the data. If you just, it's going to grow significantly further than this. This is only projected till 25. It can be projected further, but it is really growing at an exponential rate. Okay, let's now come back to data science, right? Now we know about the actuarial science, right? But what is data science? Data science, actually, they do three things. They predict for the future. They classify the famous classification problem, or they find out patterns. That's what they do in the data science. Three main areas. But that's what they do. But how do they do it? I mean, in terms of how they link it to the various fields, right? We have business at one sense. For example, it could be any industry. It could be a pharma industry. It could be a insurance industry. It could be a consumer goods industry. Any type of industry, they will have their own rules of the game. They will have their own customer database and stuff like that. But they will have the data from that industry, right? How many customers are there? How they are, the buying behavior of the customers. There is a lot of data in terms of that particular business. Now, using that data, we do a lot of statistical and mathematical analysis, right? And for this, we need to know the maths of it. We need to know how the whole thing works, right? Though it sounds as a bit statistical, but there is a lot of mathematics also involved, because we will be kind of doing a lot of behavioral analysis and doing a lot of assumption in terms of future, and doing a bit of calculus in terms of integration and differentiation and things like that. And hence a lot of an advanced level of math is involved. So that's called the business analytics part, right? But now we also need to apply computer science, because this is quite a lot of heavy calculation. Some of you might have probably attended our earlier sessions. A lot of iterative things go on, and if you have a huge data and you have iterative calculations, it's very difficult to do it in an easy way, either manually or even through a small program or even an Excel. So we'll have to know about the computer science, advanced advanced courses, advanced languages in the computer science in terms of machine learning, and also the connectivity in terms of how it connects to the data and how we can extract the output, right? So these three fields, one is the business itself. So we need to know about the business, and hence, and the data will come from the business. So we need to know the business in terms of understanding the characteristics of the data. Then we need to know about how do we use those data to find what problem that we need to solve. And once we know what we need to do, then we'll have to kind of develop the solution using the using the latest techniques in ML and other computer science languages to provide a data science solution. So that is in short that what we do, right? It's all related. You can see, in insurance, the same thing is what was done, but only the business was insurance, and probably some of the advanced level of topics are not there. For example, the customer relationship or the marketing analytics, as they call, is not covered as part of actuarial science, but yeah, they are all covered as part of the data science course. Yeah, so now let's move on a bit further in terms of how they're spending, right? The world over, the spend in USD for the data science is expected to grow to about 92 billion in 2026. Where is it currently? We are at around 65 billion, right? So this is going to grow significantly, about 65 into 1.5 times is 96, right? 95, 97. So it's going to grow about 50% in about 5 years' time. And this is growing significantly. And the world over, the skill gap or the shortage of data scientists is humongous. There is a huge short supply of data scientists world over, and the actuaries as well, that you have seen, right? The shortage is growing like this. You can see the next slide that we have put together, how gap between as the screen move to the next slide. Let me share it again. Let me stop the sharing and share it again because the screen has stopped.
Okay, looks like there is some connectivity issue at speaker's end. So what I will do is, meanwhile, I will answer some of the questions that came up in the chat. As the speaker also mentioned, that you can register either with Institute of Actuaries of India, or you can register with the faculty of Institute and Faculty of Actuaries of UK as well. And there are exemptions. If you clear the exams with the Institute of Actuaries of India, you pay some fees, and you can claim an exemption with the UK Institute as well, or vice versa. You can also give the exams with the UK Institute and claim exemption at the Indian Institute. So those kind of arrangements are available. So it shouldn't be a big deal whether you do your actuarial science from Indian Institute or the UK Institute. It's virtually the same. In fact, you will get the same modules, or the preparatory material is exactly the same. The exams are slightly different. I mean, there's always this debate, which one is easier, whether it's easier to clear the exams with the UK Institute, whether it's easier to clear exams with Indian Institute. But generally it's useful to give exams in both places. I mean, register for both the places, because there is some timing difference. Like, for example, in India, the exams might happen at a different time, and in UK the exams might happen at a different time. So you can clear more exams. The second thing is, of course, it's going to be costly if you are going to register for exams in UK as compared to India. So what many people do is that they register with the UK Institute after they start working. So what happens is, when you work for an insurance organization or any organization, the organization also sponsors your examination fees, and that kind of helps you to reduce the financial burden. Okay, Arun sir, are you there? Okay.
Neha, can you make Arun the co-host?
Yes, I'm just finding him very.
Okay, there are some questions like which college degree should be done alongside actuarial exams. It all depends on you. I mean, there is no clear answer to it. Math degree, statistics, it can also be finance. It's just that you need an inclination for mathematics, and it always helps to have a math background if you are interested in this field. Okay, we will come back to the questions. Arun sir is back. So over to you, Arun sir.
Yeah, sorry. And am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, sorry, I think there was some network problem, so no, we could not. Is the video on?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Yeah, so the data scientist gap is quite growing. As you can see, it has become 3 times now. This is only 2019, figures, right? Now it has grown significantly further to this. It has about 5 times now, 5x times right now, and it is expected to grow further. And what they're doing currently is that they're actually filling that with other skilled people like engineers and who have probably not done the exact data science course, but because they'll have to get the job done, they have been on this, and they have started doing the work through others who have probably not qualified as data scientists. Just give me one moment. Yeah. Okay. Okay, that's quickly about the connect and the course and the data science. Maybe that I might have not covered a few of the items that you wanted to know. So we'll take it up as questions, and I missed a few of them that you would have taken. And please let me know as we go forward. And I'll just take the questions right.
Thank you, Arun sir. So we will take questions. So anyone who has questions, please raise your hand and I will unmute you and you can ask questions to the speaker. And I would like to give a shout out to Dr. Ajay Kumar ji. Ajay Kumar ji is a professor at Chinmaya Vishwavidyapit, and he has taken out the time to join here. He's also a guide of Vinay sir. Vinay sir, who is doing his PhD from Chinmaya Vishwavidyapit. He is a guide for Vinay sir. And also a huge shout out to all the teachers who have joined, because it's very important that the teachers are aware of these areas, these fields, because many students, I'm sure, consult teachers about career opportunities in these areas, and it always helps to have more information on these fields. So thank you all the teachers for joining in. Okay, so we have questions. Okay, Sai Shreya.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the wonderful session. It was really helpful. I wanted to ask which degree we should do to alongside actuarial sciences, like which degree would be more preferable?
Okay. See, there are 2 ways you can look at it. One is that whether you want to do with see, if you look at the data science itself, there are 3 fields, right? One is the business itself. The second one is the math part, which is what you need to do, either learn either in the data science courses or the actuarial science courses. The third one is the computer field, right? Many people right now they take up a combination of the data and the computer science arena. Of course, business we may not be able to get into, but I would suggest a kind of specialization in one business area. For example, actually specialize in insurance area, right? So there could be it could help if you at least know, if not study one area. Maybe you can have one specialization, but you can apply to other areas as well. That's one stream. But the other stream is you can actually combine it with computer science and the other allied courses in machine language and artificial intelligence, and that will help because you can apply it across every other industry. So both of this can go hand in hand. The third one could be you can study actuarial science itself in core. You can study it in college and then kind of up and to it and through the other courses in the UK Institute or the Indian Institute. So that's another way to look at. But whatever that you learn, finally you will have to apply. You will have to practice, And while doing it, you will invariably have to look at the combination of the three. You may not get, you may not have the luxury of working in all the business segments at one go. Maybe you will have to learn it over a period of time, but the fundamentals would remain the same. So the short answer to your question is either combine it with computer science or one of the areas of business. That is what I would suggest.
I think the question was more about what undergraduate course degree they should take along with, if someone wants to pursue actuarial science, what is a good undergraduate degree, or is there one?
Yeah, good undergraduate degree, if I may say, is that if it's a Bachelor of Science, then I would prefer either a math or a stat or an actuarial science course, or a computer science where you have a machine language and and the data science part of it. These four undergraduate courses are fine. If it is an engineering degree, of course, a computer science or I mean, whatever that I have mentioned for the earlier courses, a similar kind of subjects, if it is covered in your engineering course, that would be fine. It will help, for example, if you're studying, say, for example, mechanical engineering, and also some of these data science techniques, it may help for automotive, when you do the analysis for automotive industries. So that's what I meant. You can probably align kind of get aligned it to some of the business areas if possible. But at the undergraduate level, I mean, the business sense of it would be little. It would be either math or else computer science, both of it, either of it or both of it combined.
Okay, Ganesh, can you unmute yourself and ask the question?
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Arun. Very nice talk. I'm a mathematics teacher at Mathematics Department of Pune University. We have this program on industrial mathematics. Now, I have two questions. Basically, what kinds of computer skills, what specific computer become an actuary, and what mathematical skills? I mean, like, for instance, in probability theory, you have this distribution theory, normal distribution, or you have regression analysis. So could you just name a few techniques which are used? I mean, my perspective, I mean, my question is basically, since I'm a teacher and we have these various courses to teach, we typically teach statistics and probability course. We also teach, measure and integration, probability theory. So it is important for us to know, like, what should we teach, if you are to motivate students to take up, actuarial science.
Yeah. So if I mean,
thanks.
from a mathematical subjects, the probability and statistics, differentiation, integration, I mean, the Taylor series and the geometry, the progression sequence series, a part of determinants, and yeah. So I mean, so these are all predominantly what goes into the subject. Of course, from a computer science link, originally there were not much of a, because it was all done either through some tables, like logarithmic table. They had an actuarial table. So initially they were doing through the tables. Later they used calculators. After that they used Excel. But nowadays, even actuaries have started writing programs in R, Python, and and other languages. Of course, if it is very advanced, they can use. Of course, now C++ also can be kind of done in Python. So I mean, these are all so R, Python, C++, those kind of languages, and some of the query languages, structured query languages. With the data, how you can extract, how you can do clean up the data and things like that, and a few of the behavioral models in from a futuristic perspective. They are all not data based. It's all more mostly a kind of a futuristic a projection model. They would be mathematical model. It could be an exponential distribution. It could be a normal distribution. It could be a Poisson or a gamma, which comes in probability. But there could be other kind of futuristic projections as well, which are not probabilistic, but could be slightly different, for example, through an utility theory and things like that. Yeah, so those are all the mathematical part of it. The computer science, as I said, mostly they work with numbers and data, and hence, it's very important to know how they can operate in databases, mostly in Excel and also in other databases like Access or other the database structures that are available. They may also it will also help if they learn SAS to kind of clean up the data, but also it will help if they learn things like the visual representation of data, those software like Tableau or the Click View and things like that. These are all some of the tools which we use. It's not necessary that you will have to learn everything at one go. I mean, as you keep on doing many different projects, you will learn, and right. It will help if you learn Python, R, the basics, Excel, Python, R, plus the actuarial science fundamentals would help. That's for sure.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, one or two questions which I have seen in the chat, which I wanted to clarify, is that see, there is an Insurance Institute of India, which is different from an actuarial institute. Actuarial institute is what the body conducts actuarial examination. Insurance Institute conducts examination from an insurance perspective. It is not just math. It is other areas as well. In insurance, they do a lot of other things, in terms of underwriting, in terms of how they select a life, or how they do a claim servicing, how they service a policy, what happens if somebody comes and surrenders the policy. All those things are also have to be learned. The Insurance Institute of India conducts examination in this area, be for life insurance, be for marine or other areas of insurance. I myself have qualified from the Insurance Institute as well as a fellow member. They are different. They are different from the actuarial exams. They have about 15 subjects, but out of which 2 subjects are linked to actuarial science. One is actuarial mathematics itself. The second one is statistics. So those 2 are linked to that, but other subjects are not related. Some are related to accounts of insurance companies. Some are related to legal, things relating to insurance companies. So other things are also there, but only 2 subjects are related to the actuarial science. But in an actuarial science, it's completely actuarial in course. I mean, all the subjects are mathematical in nature, are purely what we need to do from an actuarial perspective, and they themselves are quite a number, 15 or 16 in number compared to what they do. So Insurance Institute partly covers a few fundamentals of the actuarial subject, but not completely. But they generally cover about the insurance as such. That is one question which I wanted to answer. The second question was about the exams from the Indian Institute and the UK Institute. Earlier, see, the UK Institute conducts their own examinations, and that can be taken from India as well. I mean, it can be taken from UK, or it can be taken from any other country. So it can be taken from India as well. However, the Indian exams usually are written from India. Most of the candidates write from India. So the candidates who are in India, if they are a member of the India body and the UK body, they have the option to write the UK exams separately and the Indian exams separately. Prior to 2 years back, since the exams are similar, if you complete a particular exam in the Indian body, Indian Institute, the UK Institute will give you the credit, the exemption. You don't have to write and pass the exams. And if somebody passes from the UK institute, they'll get a corresponding credit in the institute. Recently, there were some concerns. In a sense, there was a particular case a student filed in the UK saying that Indian students are getting 4 chances, whereas we are getting only 2 chances. So there is some so currently the exemption, the equivalent credits are not being given. But however, the subjects are the same, the syllabus is the same, the material is the same, and even some of the examiners are the same, because it's a very small profession and very small set of people, and hence it would be easy to convert one exam into another exam. But having said that, there is a mutual recognition agreement from the India body to the UK body. If you become a fully qualified fellow member in India, then you will be admitted as a fully qualified fellow member in the UK, and vice versa. So even if you do not get one credit, you don't have to bother. You can still wait, qualify fully and take a full exemption. But we are also working on getting the individual credits as well. So that will happen. By in another 1 or 2 years, this issue would be resolved, and we will have an individual credit as well for each of the subjects. So that is what is the subject to subject credit between the Indian institute and the UK institute. I don't know whether I missed out any question from that chat. Yeah, I'll take it as it comes. So I'll wait for other questions.
Great. I think this was very helpful, because that Insurance Institute of India, it always confuses people with Institute of Actuaries of India, and because I think it's easier to become a fellow of Institute of Actuaries, Insurance Institute of India, and people feel that, okay, if I become a fellow there, that means I'm an actuary. So it was helpful to have a clarification on that. And also, I was not aware of this individual exemptions not working anymore. But as you pointed out, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, once you're a fellow in one institute, you're also a fellow by paying some fees, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay, Anil, can you unmute yourself and ask the question?
Yeah, thank you so much. I just wanted, in Mumbai, if you want to go for this actuarial course, where we can approach?
When you say in Mumbai, you're asking about coaching institutes or?
Coaching, as well as for giving exam we can do it online, right? So for coaching itself, yeah.
Can I take that question, Arun sir? Because I am not sure if you are aware
Sure,
of coaching.
sure. You can.
So I mean, there are coaching institutes, but the institute's study material itself is extremely exhaustive. I mean, it's beautifully explained, and if you just go through the study material itself, I think you will get a very good understanding of the subject matter. But coaching institutes, I'm not well versed with that.
Okay.
But when I was studying for actuarial science, I relied completely on the study material, and the explanations are just fantastic. I mean, you don't need any additional guidance as such.
Okay.
This is my view, of course. Arun sir, you want to add?
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that. I think the material from the institute is quite exhaustive, and they cover whatever that's required from learning perspective. There are a few coaching institutes as well. I don't want to name them. We can probably discuss that offline. But they have started a few coaching institutes in Mumbai as well as in Gurgaon. But they are all private. I mean, they're not universities per se. They are not the institute per se, right? And hence we will have to. For example, there is something called a future track. There is DS acted. There are quite a few professors also have started the actuarial science coaching. There are individuals who do kind of like a tuition. I know they do that. So yeah, they're there, but not like I mean, IIT coach. It's all very early stage at this point of time. Just getting explored. Does that answer your question?
Yes. So I think some of them have asked what is the starting salary. So I would just extend that question a little bit. I think it's not appropriate in this field to just focus on the starting salary, because when you start, in actuarial science, when you start your career, you have just cleared a few exams. Unlike some areas like, let's say, chartered accountancy, you would have cleared the entire chartered accountancy exam and then you come into the profession. So of course, there is going to be a gap between the starting salaries for students who are pursuing actuarial science and for a chartered accountant who has cleared, for example. But what is important is your graph. How does the salary increase? Having said that, I mean, there were a lot of people who would ask me about, whether I should do actuarial science, because I have heard that the fellow of actuaries, their salaries are pretty high. So should I do? My only response to them used to be that, of course, you should play cricket then, because cricketers earn so much amount that it makes sense for every one of us to become professional cricketer if that's the criteria for deciding your career path. So please make sure that your students just do not select careers based on the monetary aspect. Of course, it is important, but it shouldn't be the only criteria for deciding what career should you select. But again, I would also mention this difference between students who pursue actuarial science compared to someone who completes a degree and then gets into the job market. So Arun sir, for specific.
Yeah, I think you are perfectly right. I think, as a student, I think you should not be too much worried about the commercial part of it. But let me also tell you that their stress levels are very, very low. If you look at the US, till about 2013-14, it's rated as one of the topmost professions, both in terms of monetary benefit as well as in terms of the stress levels that an individual goes through. Right? See, money you can earn. At the end of the day, there are two other things that you will have to look through. One is about your health, and one is about your mental and actually health. Includes both mental and physical well-being. Right? The more you earn, I mean, the more you will have to further earn. Right? There is no end to it. Like how we have in a sequence. We will always crave for more, and there is no end to it. So at some point, you will have to define what exactly you want. And secondly, if you have to earn more and more, then you will have to work more and more, and you will have to define how much you will work. And both of it are directly related to your mental well-being and physical well-being, right? So that is where you will have to draw a very particular line. And I mean, you are all very young students, so I don't want to stress that at this point of time too much. You will learn it as you progress in life. But the thing that you should be now focused on is about learning, right? What I can learn, how much I can learn, how much knowledge I can take inside, and then how I can utilize it is another part, the second part. But the more knowledge you take, I mean, you will be in demand for sure, and you will definitely get the monetary benefit out of it, and you will also get the importance. I mean, it's not just about the monetary benefit. I mean, how you are, whether you are feeling important, in the whole set of things. That is also very, 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 very one of the things that you should look into apart from your health. So in all three counts, as an actuary, I can say that it ticks for me. I know each individual will have a different yardstick or measure, but travel as an actuary. But let me tell you, earning quite substantial. You have seen how many actuaries are there in India. The companies are craving for actuaries. Even now, we do not have an actuary, at least for 2-3 companies, appointed actuaries who have to sign, and they are willing to pay in. I don't want to say, but the highly.
Did we lose him?
I think so.
Yeah. Do you want to take Sri Hari's question or answer any of the question?
Yes. Srihari, can you ask your question?
Yes, sir. So, good evening. And like, I just wanted to follow up on like what you and sir were talking about regarding clearing a certain number of papers and starting off. So how does one like go about gaining work experience? Is it like we should clear a certain number of papers and then start working in an actuarial field, or do we start immediately while clearing papers? So how does that work?
So usually it's easier to get a job opening or get into a company if you have cleared, let's say, 3 or 4 initial papers. But for someone who has graduated from reputed institutes like IITs, ISI Kolkata or ISI Delhi, they generally are able to get jobs even without having cleared any of the actuaries papers. So once you start working along with your job, you should also complete your papers. So many organizations, what they do is they give you study leaves in addition to the leaves that any other employee gets. So if you're pursuing actuarial science, for example, when I was working with ICICI Prudential Life Insurance, we were given certain allotted time for as study leave, and we could decide how we want to take, whether we want to take all the leave closer to the exam, which they would not prefer because you're gone for 20 days at a stretch. So what they would suggest you to do is take a leave every week. So instead of Saturday, Sunday, I would have 3 days of weekend. So I would take leave on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I could use the 3 days to study actuarial science. So there is a lot of support available from the organization for you to clear these exams. But it is absolutely of no use if you just clear the exam and don't work. I mean, in the sense that you wait for, let's say I will complete the first level, which is of 9 exams. I will clear all the exams and then I will start working. That's absolutely no use. The reason for that, why it is of no use, is because remember that even your seniors in the organization wouldn't have cleared that many papers. So it becomes very difficult for someone who has cleared 8 papers to get a job in the organization, because your manager would have cleared only 3 papers or 4 papers for that matter. So it's very hard for you to get accommodated there, because you will feel not given due because your manager himself or herself has lower number of papers cleared. At the same time, the manager will not be that keen on working with you because you have cleared more papers. So they have this kind of a complex that, okay, I have a junior who has cleared more papers than I have done. So you will not be looked with the manager at the end of the day is going to decide whether they want to hire you or not. So it actually helps you if you have lesser number of papers under your belt, because it becomes easier for you to get a job, especially if you can demonstrate during your interview that you have the necessary skill sets to actually, and you're passionate about this field.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Actually, I think like I miscommunicated my question. Like I understood your point for sure. Like when you are working with ICICI, they used to give you like a study leave. But like what I wanted to know is like when I'm suppose, so there will be 2 types of companies. One which know that students are preparing for this exam and will give them study leave. And like if I don't work in an as an actuarial analyst or something, there will be companies which expect me to work full time. So what I wanted to know is, what if I, for example, work say as a software engineer somewhere which has no relation with actuarial science, and then after suddenly say 6 or 7 papers I shift to an actuarial as an actuarial analyst somewhere, or I should directly start as an actuarial analyst somewhere?
So you can start somewhere else and then jump to the insurance industry, But the earlier you jump into a field that is related to actuaries, it's useful for your career. See, what happens is actuaries is a very specialized field. So data science is much broader than actuarial science, because actuarial science is, in some sense, you're a data scientist in an insurance industry. So you have actually narrowed yourself if you're doing a specialization in actuaries. So now the question is, if you're a software engineer, let's say you're working outside the actuaries domain, or you're working outside the risk management area, so to say, how easy will it be for you to come into the insurance industry? It's not that easy to crack. You can get into the insurance industry, that's not a problem. But getting into actuaries and insurance industry is the hard part. So I won't wait for 7 papers to jump into the insurance industry. I would say 3 or 4 papers, and then you knock at the doors of these companies. If you don't start in these companies directly. Shreyari, did that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you very much.
Okay, Sai Shreya?
Yes, sir. I wanted to ask, like, you are telling that if we can just start off, we can start off with a job even after clearing three to four papers, right? So while doing our bachelor's in like data science or something like that, we'll get job interviews, right, from the college. So will they see actual papers as a plus point, and will we get a job according to that? And will we get like did you get, I'm not able to explain it to you exactly. Yeah.
So my suggestion will be, if you are doing actuarial science, ask yourself whether you want to work in the insurance field. Are you interested in insurance? Are you interested in risk management? So data science is a pretty wide area, because data science can also help organizations in business planning, for example. It could be how to increase the profits of the organization. But when you are talking about actuarial science, it's more about risk management. So if you are interested in risk management, then combine your data science degree with the actuarial science degree.
Okay.
So if you're looking for jobs in insurance, banking, or in the risk management area, then it makes sense for you to apply to these kind of jobs. But if you're not interested in risk management and insurance, then use your data science skill sets into other kind of jobs. It could be, estimating how much demand will be there for the products and those kind of things. So it all depends upon your interest. It all depends upon where do you want to make your career. Again, the risk that you run with actuarial science is the fact that it's a very specialized field. So if you are really interested in that narrow area of risk management, which in itself is quite wide, but then it's also narrow in the sense that you're then restricted to that particular domain.
Yes. And also, can you also suggest some books for ACT preparation?
So ACT, doesn't the institute provide you with study material? It does, right?
No, sir. I don't think so. It does.
Okay, it stopped, I guess. Actually, I will have to get back on this. I'm not sure. We can check with Arun once he's back. Has anyone appeared for ACT among the participants here? You can just message in the chat. Okay, Mokshit, can you tell us what books did you refer to? Mokshit, can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, so I went for more the online material like MIT Open Courseware and stuff like that for statistics and maths.
Okay.
Rather than going for books, because so the IAI suggests some material like Tomato for the ISI entrance exam and stuff like that. Those books also apply here, but it's better if you go for materials online.
Okay, so you did courses on statistics from MIT Openware. What else? What other courses did you take? Can't you unmute yourself, Mokshit?
Okay, yeah, all right. The material itself is not extremely advanced. If you're like maths and stats is not that advanced, and plus it has some other stuff like English and logical reasoning to offset it. So you don't have to do a lot of rigorous studies as long as you know the basics. So I had studied for AP statistics and stuff like that. So I already had, and because of RAM-TP, I already had to a certain level the knowledge of the material. So I mainly went for MIT Open Courseware, a little bit of Khan Academy, and that was it.
Okay, great. Thanks, Mokshit. Hope that helps to, because I think Sai Shri had asked this question, and also someone else had asked this. I think Rishi had also asked the same question. So I hope it helps. Rajesh, can you unmute yourself? Ask your question, please.
Good evening, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I would like to know whether there is age limit for this to appear for this course.
Okay, Arun sir. I think you're back.
No, I think he's still struggling with the connection.
So no, there is no age limit. There is no age limit to join this course. It's just that you have to still appear for ACT, and once you clear the ACT, which is like an entrance exam to this course, and then you take it forward from there. But there is no age limit as such.
So if I had done with three to four subjects, then if I am getting a job, will it be a work from home type, or I have to go there?
No. It will be like any other job. It will be like any other job. It won't. I mean, it will depend upon the organization whether it's work from home or whether you have to be there. But it is like any other job, which by all probabilities you have to be available in person.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Sorry, I got lost. Yeah.
I think we have answered all the questions that people asked. So just to get your sense, if someone wants to start working in this field, how many papers roughly would you recommend for them to clear before they join? Is it recommended not have any papers and work, or have few papers? What is that number? Arun?
I think he got locked out again.
I thought that it will be nice to have his perspective as well on that question, because I think. So what should we do? I think we have answered almost all the questions. Have I missed any question? Please let me know that if I have missed any question, because I might have missed in the chat. But if I have not, then if there are no new questions, then we can end the session today.